IIT Gwalior in the 2013. His research interests are in the area of wireless communication and networking. He is associated with the various academic organizations and technical societies such as senior member of IEEE, member of the IEEE Communication Society, and the life member of IETE. He is also a reviewer for the many reputed research journals and the conferences. Effective technical writing is one of the most important aspects of researcher's life, and today's talk is all about that. Now I request Dr. Madhadev Balsan sir to take over the session and please continue with his talk. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Amit. Uh, can you see this documentation page?
Yes, sir.
Creating document in LaTeX. Is it visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So I'm using this Overleap platform to demonstrate the concepts as well as to run the LaTeX codes. Right. Overleap is a online editor for LaTeX, and then where you can share your documents online with your colleagues, so that the document can be edited in collaborative manner. Right. So I will introduce you with the basics of LaTeX first, and on this simultaneously we'll also run the codes on the LaTeX. Right. So with the beginning we will be compiling a very simple document. All right. So what is the advantage of LaTeX is that you need not to worry about the formatting, right? Once you write your technical article, say for one journal, there is no need to change whenever you submit it to another journal, right? The only thing is that you need to write in a just text manner, and everything, this formatting part will be taken care by the LaTeX or the computer. All right. So you need not to change the formatting of a document when you change or decided that to no, I don't want to submit to this journal, I will submit to another journal, basically, right? So basically this LaTeX is a great tool to create documents, and it is based on what you see is what you mean idea, right? So let's start with how a LaTeX document look like, right? The installation part we'll take later on, right? We'll start with the learning of this language, right? It's basically a language, programming language, all right? With a very few syntax which are necessary, right? So this is the command for a very simple document. Are you able to see this highlighted portion?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay.
Yes,
So the
sir.
first statement is document class backslash document class, and under the curly brackets there is a term article, right? So we have to define what type of documents we are going to produce, right? So here the document class is article, say journal article or a conference article or a letter article or even a simple plain letter or a book maybe, right? So there are lots of options of their the document class are there. I've taken the simple example of an article, right? Then I have then there is a command begin document, and then there is a command end document, right? So this environment, begin document and end document, is the environment where you write everything related to your document, right? And anything before the begin document statement is known as the preamble, right? It is known as the preamble, right? So let's run this program or this simple code in the LaTeX, all right? So this is the statement that will come out. First document, this is a simple example with no extra parameters or package included, right? So with these 4 lines or 5 lines of the code, your document will look like this, but it is not that what we want, right? Let's decorate it. So before what type of article you need is fine. Then see this code, which is further have some other additional parameters. So in this document class statement, inside this square brackets, we have 2 more parameters. One is 12 point, and the second parameter is letter paper, right? So this 12 point specifies that your document will be printed in 12 font, 12 size font, right? The other options available are 9 point, 11 point, 12 point, and so on, right? Similarly, this letter paper specifies the size of the paper which you want to use. Letter means this is a letter paper. If you want A4 paper, you just write A4, right? You just write A4. That's it. It's like this, A4 size paper, right? By default, it is A4 size. Else you have to specify, right? So there are lots of options with that. So A4 or letter generally we use, right? So this is now before that we need a title page of the document, right? So for that we need something, some information in the title page. So for that we have the title, we name it the first document, who is the author of the document or this article. You name the author name, right? So every statement here, the LaTeX statement began with this backslash, right? That you remember, right? Then you forgot about this thing, and then the date and so on, right? So these will appear in your document. Got it? Then there is a command here, this use package, right? So LaTeX is basically compiler, and there are lots of additional packages which are used to for different purposes, right? Here this UTF-8 is an encoding format. It allows the use of additional characters beyond your ASCII, right? So basically special characters are there in the who is writing something on the on this something is appearing on the screen. Please avoid it, right? So this is a additional package which is used to allow special characteristics, special characters basically, right? So you have to use packages, right? And they has to be specified just after this document class statement one by one. Like for example, when we use the mathematical symbols, we have to use additional packages. We'll discuss them later on, right? So this is basically use this package by default, right? In all your documents, there will be no problem, right? Even if you use a package, include a package in your document which is not used, there's no problem with that, right? So now you have put the title information, right? Now how to produce the title page? How to produce the title page? So for that, so okay, this statement is fine. We have already discussed this. We have discussed this statement, right? Then we have the information which we want to put on the title page, the title, date, author information, and so on, right? For date, there's February 2014 or whatever date you like, or simply you put date statement that we will check, right? That will put the date, today's date, right? Whenever you compile the document, the date will be the date of compilation, all right? Then you have the begin document, and in this begin document, we have these three lines: begin title page, make title, end title, right? There's a standard statement. So this information, which is title, author, date, everything will be printed on a separate page, right? Will be printed on a separate page, all right? And then this statement will be in the next page, and then your end document, right? So let's run this code, what will appear on the screen, or how the document will look like with these statements, all right? So now you see there is a title page, right? So the title of the document is first document, the author is this, date is February 2014, and you have the second page here, right? Which contains this statement after the title page. Now let's see what happens if you put simply date. Instead of this, you simply put date. Okay, sorry, just there is one more statement for that. So this is today, February 5th, 2021. right? It is this is happening because some package is not included. This is happening, this first page is appearing because of some package is not included. That's why it is happening. All right, but still you got this date of today's February 5 2021. All right, or else you can specify your date based on this command date, and give the date inside the curly brackets. All right, any doubt? This statement inside the author, right? Everything author is included in, you remember these curly brackets, right? So anything which is within the curly brackets will be treated as author. But inside this author command, there is another command which is thanks, right? This is used to thank your organization maybe, or some other thing, right? You suppose you are writing an article where you want to thanks your organization, thanks the funding agency, that can be used. Again, thanks is a command, and everything written inside the curly bracket for this thanks will be put at the footnote, right here. You see a star will be put over here, and this will be put as footnote over here, that you may see in the different articles, research articles. All right, if you have any questions, please ask. All right. Okay, so you have author, thank is for the affiliation or for thanking organization, and so on. End title page and the begin title page is for your generating the title page, and this make title command / make title command will generate the title. All right, so let's see some basic formats. All right, so these three commands are the first three are same, right? Then you have, suppose you want to write an abstract, we write abstract in your articles, right? So for this there is a command called abstract, right? So again, this begin abstract, end abstract, right? So this is basically an environment, right? Like your begin document, end document environment, this is also a environment which is inside the document environment, right? So everything put in the between these begin and end abstract statement will be treated as abstract, and the word abstract will also be put before the statement. All right, then the second is, suppose you want to break the line, right? You want to put something in the next line. So for there is a character, this double backslash, this double backslash will start the statement with a new line, right? With a new line. Let's see. Let's put this abstract over here. And let's run it. Date is, say, let's put a date. Let's run it. Right, so this is the date. Now this is the abstract, right? Abstract, and below that is the abstract, right? You see the indent for this is different, and for the normal text is different, right? So these first two lines are the abstract lines. And remember, here you need not to write the abstract word, right? Abstract will appear automatically here, right? The abstract environment will put this word automatically, right? Now I'm talking about the line break, right? Suppose I put these two backslashes here and recompile it. You see there will be a line break, right? There will be a line break, right? Similarly, you can have a new paragraph, right? So for that, you can simply give a space, right? Just one space, and write whatever you want. That will be put into a new paragraph. They will put as a new paragraph, right? So you have the second paragraph from here, right? Your second paragraph from here. All right, so for that you have to just leave one line blank, right? You have to leave a one line blank for the new paragraph. Right? Then comments, right? You want something, sometimes it's necessary to add some comment to your document, right? For better readability, or suppose you have written something, but you now don't want it to be appear in your document, but you want keep it inside the document, inside the text file, right? So for that, there is a straightforward method. Here, there is a reserved character which is used for commenting. It is percentage, right? It is the percentage sign which is used for comment purpose, right? So that will not appear in the document, right? For that, you have to include a package known as use package for the command to work, right? Let's see. So first you have to use this package, use package, all right? And then you can comment anything. For example, if you comment over here, that is now the color will also change, right? The color will also change, all right? And if you run this blue line where we have started this line with the reserved character percentage sign will not appear in the document. You see this line is not there in the document, all right? So you have to use this use package comment, and then whatever you want to hide, you have to put this sign before the beginning of the line. All right. Okay, let's move on. So these are the documents types which are available. Article is for your general articles, report for longer documents or dissertations you can use, book to write the book, letter for formal letters, slides, but it is never really used, right? For making the presentation or PowerPoint slides, you need a package known as Beamer, right? A document class known as Beamer. Then there are reserved characters that you cannot use in the normal text, right? They are a special character. They are associated with LaTeX commands. So, for example, this sign, hash sign, this dollar sign, percentage sign, this superscript sign, this end sign, underscore sign, these curly brackets, right? Tilde sign and backslash, right? These are not used as normal text. Whenever you use them, there will be in the normal text, there will be an error message, right? But if you want to plot them, if you want to use them in your document, right? There is a special way of doing that, right? Which is, suppose if you want to use this sign, then you have to add backslash hash, right? Suppose you want this dollar sign, right? In the math mode it is used, but if you want it to use in a normal mode, backslash star sign, backslash dollar sign. Similarly, command आप use करना, say for example you want to write on 5%, so you have to write 5 and then backslash %. Similarly, if you want to use this superscript, it is used for superscript in the math mode, but you want to use it, you have to write backslash superscript, right? Similarly, if you want to use and, there will be this is used for some table operations or for table columns to separate the columns in the table, right? But if you want to use in normal text, you use with this. Similarly, this tilde, the curly brackets, right? And so on. Everything is which is written over here is reserved signs. You cannot use them directly. All right. So let's see what happens when you use such document, say suppose we use these curly brackets, right? There will be an error. They will not appear at all, right? If it's not an error, they will not appear at all. All right. But if you want to use, say suppose you want to use them, so you put the backslash before both left and right curly brackets, then they will appear in your text. Then they will appear in your text like this. Suppose you want to use percentage somewhere. So simple percentage will not do the task. It will simply hide this statement package and parameters. But if you use this, the percentage will appear, right? If you use this symbol, the percentage will appear, right? You see the percentage packages will appear, right? So all these special characters, these reserved characters are reserved for some commands in the LaTeX, so that you cannot use them in the normal text. But if you want to use them, there is a special way of doing that, right? You use a backslash before the reserved character you want to use. All right. Okay. So is there any question up to this point? Hello?
A participant can ask the question or write down the chat box.
If anybody has question, they can ask, or we can move forward. My suggestion is you just suggestion to all the participants is that you just open the overlay. There is no need to, or you just create an account there using your email ID, and at the same time you try to run these commands, right? Or you write your own commands that gives you a hands-on experience, right? Okay. Paragraphs and new lines. I think we have discussed this, paragraphs and new lines, right? So for new line, you just put the double backslash. For new paragraph, you use a blank line, or there is additional command for that, backslash para, right? PAR, backslash paragraph, right? So there is, but there these two backslash works fine for new line, and a blank line works fine for a new paragraph. All right. Now let's look at the paragraph alignment, right? You want to put the paragraph in the center of the document, or you want a left alignment or a right alignment. You want a left alignment or a right alignment. Generally, these things are not needed as far as you, as long as you write only the research articles, right? Because all the journals or conferences provide you a template, right? So all the formatting, everything is given in that template. Only thing that is needed is that you have to put your material in that format. Is it? So everything will be formatted according to the style of that particular journal or conference, right? So generally these statements are not used so frequently. You will never encounter to a situation where you have to manually align a paragraph to the left or to the right or to the center, right? Everything will be there in the template. Only thing is that you have to be familiar with the general or basic statements, basic commands of the LaTeX. All right. So this flush left, begin flush left and end flush left environment will align your paragraph to the left of the document, right? It's just like Microsoft Word's left alignment. Similarly, for right alignment, you have the flush right, right? FLUSH flush right. And for the center, you have the begin center, end center, right? Begin center, end center, right? So these are the keywords here: the center, flush left, and flush right. So these three can be used for Okay, I just forgot. There are a few questions that I ignored in the chat box, right? So let me, before going further, let me answer some of the questions. So one student Rahul B asked, "Sir, what is tell me in brief that what is the use of this?" Right. So it has the same use as the Microsoft Word. In Microsoft Word, we have to make the adjustments of where want to put the figure, or we have to decorate your document yourself manually, right? But in LaTeX, you just focus on just writing your technical details, right? Formatting part will be taken care by the document, right? First. The second is that whenever suppose you have submitted a paper to a IEEE general, but somehow it is got rejected, and suppose now you want to submit it to say elsewhere, but elsewhere has a different style of the text as well as references as well as figures, everything. So if you are writing it in Word, again you have to do the same thing. Again you have to format your document according to the requirements of the elsewhere, right? But if you have written your code or written your document in LaTeX, there is no need to do that, right? Not for the references, not for the text, right? Only thing is that you have to use a different template and paste your text there, right? I'm not saying that it is better than the Word. If you have explored all the features of Microsoft Word, you can also produce your documents beautifully in the Microsoft Word as well, right? But I'm not a master of Microsoft Word. I prefer it's my personal opinion, I prefer LaTeX, and I'm fond of this. That's why I'm discussing here today, right? And I am sure that if you try this, you will also love it. The UTF package, one has asked what is the UTF package. This you need not to bother about this package. Actually, this is for some additional say special type of fonts, right? Above the ASCII, your computer has simple ASCII codes only, but this package allow you to use say Greek letters and many more symbols that we use in mathematics, right? So this is the package that allows to print these special characters, right? Then there is an Anil Ansolia. How to set the starting position of first line in the paragraph, that is the left, right, that we have just discussed, the flush left, flush right, or center, begin center and center command will be used for this. Queries in the chat box. UTF I have already done. It is an open source software, right? We'll discuss it, which one will be better for you at the end of the lecture, right? So it is a free source, free open source. You can use it freely, right? Even the Overleaf is free open online editor. Even there are lots of offline editors, LaTeX editors as well that you can install. They all are free. Mendeley. I I don't think Mendeley supports the LaTeX type of thing. Mendeley is for, I think, bibliography management, as far as I know. Mendeley is for just bibliography management. You can manage your references there. How to use LaTeX with templates, please, so particularly for I will cover this, Anil. We'll take a template of IEEE or any other journal, and we'll put text into that, right? Okay. So these are the commands or environments that you can use to align your paragraph in the center or or the right of the document or the left of the document. All right. So these are the three commands: begin center, end center, begin flush left, and flush left, begin flush right, and flush right. Right. This paragraph indentation is not needed, right, for the basic purposes. We'll discuss it. You can just go for anything. You just search this on the net. You will find for your specific problem solution, LaTeX solution for your specific problem. Okay, next we move on to the other content. The next is how to make a text bold italic, or underline, right? How you can do that in LaTeX? How to make a text bold, italic, or underline? So for that, there are 3 commands. I will use these 3. The first is text boldface, text boldface, text IT for italic, text IT for italic, text IT, TEXT, IT, backslash text IT for italic, backslash text boldface for making the text bold, and the command underline, backslash underline is for underlining the word. Let's run it. See the last para. There is an encoding package and page size and font size parameters. Some of the greatest. So the first was greatest, which was text boldface, discoveries in science. The second is underlined. So backslash underline we have used. And then we have used both boldface as well as text it, right? So inside these boldface brackets, we have used this command, which is text it. So it will do both bold it as well as italic the text. All right. Then you have another command which can be used for emphasis actually, right? The command is backslash EMPH, emphasis, right? But its functionality will depend on the context where you are using it, right? Suppose here you have this, some of the greatest discoveries in the science were made. So it is a plain text, right? Straightforward text. So here it will emphasize this word accident by italic it, right? It will italic, print it in italic, but here you see the second statement here, the text, because we have covered all the text inside this text it command, right? So all the letters are actually text. Text it means they are italic, but here inside this italic environment, this word we want to emphasize. So it will not do the italic. It will just reverse it to the normal text, right? So all the text will be italic. Only this emphasized word will be non-italic, now normal text. All right. It will be a normal text. So its function depends where you are using it. So if you are using it in a normal text, the selected word will be emphasized by converting it into italic, right? If you are writing in italic and you are using it, this emphasis command, the word will be used in normal. All right. Used in normal, right? Third, here it is used inside the boldface environment. So inside the boldface environment, everything will be bold, but the emphasized word, this emphasized word will be italic, bold, italic. All right. So this is how you can italic, make the words italic, underline, or bold. All right. Okay. Next, move on to lists. How to make lists in LaTeX. So let's, there are 2 types of lists in the LaTeX. One is the unordered list, that means bulleted list, and numbered list. All right. So for unordered list, there is an environment known as begin itemize and end itemize, right? So itemized environment, right? And each bullet is there is a command \item, right? \item for each element in the list. For each element in the list, you can, if you run it, let's say run it, right? So you have this list, all right? You have this list environment. So here you will, it will, by default, a bulleted list will be produced. By default, a dotted list will be produced. Then for ordered list, you have an environment begin enumerate, ENUMERAT, begin enumerate and enumerate, right? And each element of the list will be identified by the word item, right? So item means the first element, first line of the list, second line of the list, and so on, right? \item. So this will give you an enumerated list or numbered list, right? This will give you a numbered list. So you have a numbered list. Now you want a nested list within a list, right? So for that, you first use the enumerated one, right? For example, and inside that you can use a bulleted one, right? So here the first environment is the begin environment, first item. Then in the second item, I want a nested list. So here I have used an unordered list. For that, I'm using a begin item and end item, and in that you have different number of items. So here there are two only, and there are two elements in the outer list. So in this way you can nest your list. All right, and this is the ordered list. In case of ordered list, all are the nested ordered list. Actually, all are enumerate environments. All are enumerate environments. So at the first level, right? At the first level means the outermost list, these letters, the numbers 1 and 2 and 3 will be used. Then at second level, the letters AB will be used. At the third level, the small case this Roman numerals will be used. And at the fourth, the capital A and B will be used, right? Capital A and B will be used. So this is the Arabic. At the first level, there are Arabic letters, lowercase letters for label 2, lowercase Roman numerals for label 3, and uppercase letters for level 4. All right, you can change them as well. There is this is by default. You can change them as well, right? But as a beginner, I'm just avoiding this. This is done by a new command, but as a beginner, I'm avoiding this. Right, and this is the precedence in unordered list, right? First level per dot, second level per dash, third level per star, or fourth level per a simple dot. There is no need the nested list will be of same type. You can nest an ordered list in an unordered list or vice versa. All right. Even for the enumerated list, you have a, if you want this, suppose here is by 1 and 2, but I don't want 1 and 2, I just want A and B. So for that, there is a way of doing that, right? In this enumerate, suppose you want this type of See this. Suppose you don't like this numbers, Arabic numbers 1, 2. I want my list like this, right? A, B, where they are a small letters A and B close by the right side parenthesis. So this is how you can do this, right? Inside the square bracket, you use whatever you want. Suppose I want capital letters A, but here you have to write it manually, right? A, B. So now this will be capital A and B, right? This will be capital A and B. By default, it will be number 1, numerals 1 and 2, but you can customize it at your will, right? A, B, C, D, whatever you want. जहां से भी आपको start करना है, वहां से आप इसको start कर सकते हैं. Suppose I want from C to C and D, this list will be C and D, right here. But you have to write it manually. So sequence, you have to remember whether the correct sequence is there or not. All right. So this is all about list. Right. We'll talk about the errors later on, right? So now let's move on to the mathematics. This is all about the basic writing, text writing in LaTeX. All right, this is just about the text writing in LaTeX. Let's move on to the mathematical expression. That is the most important part first. So how to write mathematics in text? For there are math mode, right? You have to say that I want to write the math, right? So for that, there are two modes in the LaTeX. One is the inline mode, where you want to write the text in the write the math in the text, right? Running text. Or you want to write the display mode. The other is the display mode, inline mode and display mode. Display mode, you want to write the mathematical expression as in a separate line, right? In a new line, like an expression like this. Here, this is an example of inline math, right? This is an example of inline math. X square plus y square equals to z square. And here, this x raised to power n plus y raised to power n equals to z raised to power n is a example of display mode of mathematics, right? So let's see how to do that in this. Right, you can do it anywhere, right? Whether in a list or in general text, anywhere, right? So to write an inline mathematical expression, you use these $sign. That's why it is a reverse character. You use a $sign, $2 sign, right? Whatever you want to write, you should write in $2 signs, inside $2 signs, right? So suppose it is x squared. So put x. For a square superscript, use this cap square plus, right, y cap square, right? So this will print x square plus y square, say suppose equals to 1. Equals to 1. So let's compile it. Okay, so can you see it? It is with x square plus y square equal to 1. Right? This is the example of an inline text. There is one more way of doing this. So instead of this $sign, you use backslash, right? This symbol backslash curve bracket at the beginning and at the end. This will also serve the same purpose. You see, right? So either to write the inline mathematics, either you use the $sign or you use the backslash parenthesis on the left and on the right of the expression, right? Now let's write the display mode of equation, display mode math. So for that, you need $4 signs, right? You need $4 sign. You have to write everything inside the $2 sign on the left and $2 sign on the right. Right? Say it's x raised to power 2 plus y raised to power 2 equals to z raised to power 2. Let's see what happens. Right? So it will be displayed here, but without any equation number. Even the display mode, there is no equation number. Right? So whenever you write inside the $2 signs on the left and $2 signs on the right, the equation will be displayed, but no equation number will be assigned to it. No equation number will be assigned to it. There is another way of doing this, right? There is another way of doing this. So instead of this, you can use this backslash square bracket on the left and backslash square bracket on the right. It will do the same thing. X square plus y square equals to z square. It has done the same thing. All right. But to go for new line, you have to use the double this. So it will be next will be start from a new line. All right. All right. In fact, I should. So there is a error actually. It is not like this. I should write an item here. So this will be displayed as an item. Then there is no need to do this. I think there is some problem with this. Oh, actually this bracket is creating problem. I have used this bracket actually for the enumeration purpose, right? That's why this is creating a problem. All right. So if I use the $$ sign, it will work fine in here in this case. Okay, no. Problem is with this. On the left hand side, I have not removed the dollar signs actually. Right, it's fine, I think now. Okay. Is it okay? Fine. So there are the two ways by which you can use the map modes. One is the inline, the other one is the display mode, right? And for that, for the inline mode, either you use the dollar signs or the backslash parenthesis. For display mode, either you use $$ sign or backslash square bracket. Backslash square bracket. All right, it's like this. Now for every LaTeX editor actually gives you a graphical list of the symbols, mathematical symbols, right? And for each symbol, there is a specific command. For example, you want to write an alpha. So for alpha, there is a backslash alpha, backslash beta, backslash gamma, backslash rho, backslash sigma, backslash delta, backslash epsilon, and so on, right? So for all the symbols, there is a statement. But the statement is easy to remember because the statements are simply the names of the symbols, right? For example, multiply symbol, this multiply symbol. So it is backslash times, right? Suppose you want this convolution, we call it as convolution, or O times, right? So backslash O times. This is backslash O plus, cup, cap, right? Relation operations, subset, superset, and so on. Integration for backslash int, backslash oint, backslash sum, backslash product, and so on, right? There is no need to remember these symbols, right? Every text editor will give you a graphical list of these symbols. So just click on that, the statement will be inserted in your text, right? Got it? Next, how to write subscript and superscripts. So for these two symbols, underscore and cap, are used for subscript and superscripts, right? Subscript and superscripts. All right. For example, this statement, I want to write this statement: x raised to power 2 alpha minus 1 by ij plus yij. So whenever the number of subscript or superscript variables is more than one, you have to enclose them inside the curly brackets, right? Inside the curly brackets. Only then they will be appear properly, right? Here x raised to power 2 alpha minus 1. If I have written simply as x, so I suppose I want to run 2 alpha, x raised to power 2 alpha, and if I have written x raised to power 2, right, then backslash alpha, right, what will appear? Let's check what will appear. It is x raised to power 2 multiplied by alpha, but I want x raised to power 2 alpha, x raised to power 2 alpha. So what I have to do for this superscript, I have to use this symbol, right? I have to enclose this 2 alpha inside the curly brackets. Only then it will appear properly or appear correctly, s raised to power 2 alpha, right? Similarly, if I want, say, x subscript 2 alpha, so for that I have to enclose the 2 alpha inside the curly brackets, right? And then this, and you have x superscript subscript 2 alpha, right? The same underscore or cap symbol will be used to write down the limits of sum as well as the limits of integrations, right? For example, say I want sum for, say, sum for I equals to 0 to I equals to 10, right? Sum, say, underscore I equals to 1, right? From I equals to 1 to I equals to 10. And close this math mode. So let's see. You have summation sign from I equals to 1 to I equals to 10. And then you can write anything out of that, right? So for example, I want to write something. Say it is 5i, 4i plus 3, right? It will appear like this, right? Summation of 4i plus 3 from I equals to 1 to 10. Similarly, you can write the integration. So the same statement, I am just changing it for integral. So sum integral for integral, the sign is int, simply the backslash int. So you have I equals to 1 integration from I equals to 1 to I equals to 10, 4i plus 3, and then dt should be there. So just let's put differentiation dt. Right? So in this way, you can write your expressions quite easily, right? Okay. Right? It's like that. Now fractions. Suppose you want to write down fractions. So for fraction, writing the fraction, there is a statement or there is a command, backslash fraction, FRAC, right? The numerator and denominator both has to be enclosed inside the curly brackets, right? So the numerator will be written in the first pair of curly brackets and denominator will be written in the second pair of curly brackets, right? Say suppose you want to write 1 plus alpha in the numerator and 2 plus beta in the denominator. So it will be like this, it will appear like this, right? 1 plus, I have made some mistake actually, I think. Okay, 1 plus alpha 2 plus beta. Now what is wrong? there is some package error actually. This is because of package. It happens only because of package, right? So for that I need to include a package. But I think it's include all the packages. Use package. AMS math package. Oh, it is giving me the error because of I have not used the math mode actually. I have made a mistake of not using the math mode. One plus alpha 2 over beta, right? So this is how the math will work, right? So this is fractions. You can use fractions, right? For the summation we have already seen, right? This is for product. So for this product is written, right? Subscript का subscript भी आप कर सकते हैं, right? That is very easy, right? So suppose you want the subscript, that is also possible. All right. For example, here is suppose you want the yi and I subscript is j. So it's like this, right? So here you can see here the y subscript is I and I subscript is j. All right. Right, these are the operators available in the LaTeX, right? You have the functions like sign. So for sign, you have to write simply backslash sign. For cos, you have to simply write backslash cos, and so on, right? But don't worry, these all functions are available in the any LaTeX editor, right? You need not to write anything, right? The limit operator, this limit operator is there, backslash limit, right? Backslash limit, right? All these arrows, right? H20, there is no need to remember these commands. Actually, they are available as graphical symbols, so you can use them directly. All right, this is not needed, right? So these are the list of the functions: cos, CSC, exponential. For backslash exponential, right? You can also use e as well, no problem with that. Or you want to use exponential. So for exponential limit sum, minimum, maximum, sine hyperbolic, right? Cos hyperbolic, degree, GCD, right? Log, ln for natural log, right? Probability for PR, probability is PR, right? And so on, cot, determinant, and lots of functions, log, tan, cot, hyperbolic, all the functions, almost all functions are there in the this right. Now write fractions. For fractions we already discussed. For writing the binomial coefficients, right, you use this. It is nck factorial n divided by factorial k factorial n minus k. So for that there is a function binomial, right? Binomial, binom, binomial nk, binomial nk. So this will give you this. On the right hand side we have used the fraction command, right? F backslash frac, fraction command, right? You can write anything like this, no problem with that, right? Continued fractions, continued fractions के लिए भी fraction के अंदर आपको use करना है. For example, fraction, this is for the first fraction, and then you write 1 plus fraction 1 plus fraction a over b. So it is written fraction a over b inside this, and then the other thing, so that you can use again and again, right? For this type of example, right, लेटर के फॉर्म में जब होता है तब आप इसमें एक अलग फंक्शन होता है, बट इट इज स्पेसिफिक एक्चुअली, जिसको चाहिए सिर्फ उसी के लिए है, right? So if for this there is a command c fraction. For this type of arrangement there is a command called c fraction, a naught plus c fraction 1 plus a1 plus c fraction and so on. You can write like that. Binomial coefficients हो गया. That's all. How to write the matrix, right? For matrix, for writing matrix, the row will be separated by the new line character, which is this double black slash, and the columns will be separated by the AND operator, right? So this first column, second column, and third column, right? And this is the first row, second row, and the environment is begin matrix and matrix. But here it will be a plain matrix. Here will be a plain matrix. Let's see what will happen if you give this command over here. So you will have this type of arrangement without any simple environment, right? Simple environment. So here you have to use this math mode, actually, then it will work fine. Right? It will be center line by default, right? But if you want different types of say brackets on the left and on the right, you have to use different commands. Instead of, if we write p matrix instead of simple matrix in this environment, let's see what happens. P matrix, right? You see on the both hand side, both sides, you have now curly, you have now the parenthesis, right, or curved brackets. Similarly, for this p matrix, begin p matrix, end p matrix, for this type of curly brackets, this type of curved parenthesis, or b matrix for square brackets, right? B matrix or and b matrix for square brackets, all right. And for curly brackets, you have to use capital B matrix, right? Begin capital B matrix and capital B matrix. For vertical lines, the typical matrix or determinant type of field, you use pipes, right? So V matrix, for this you have V matrix and V matrix, right? V matrix and V matrix. If you want double pipes, so you use capital V matrix, begin capital V matrix and capital V matrix. It's like that. Let's run it. Right, it's like that. All right. Suppose you want to add one more row here. So let's see. It's I and J and K, right? I, J and K. Just recompile it. You have the third row. Remember that this is a way of writing it beautifully readable, but this will also works fine. You need not to bother about the space, right? You need not to bother about the space. It will automatically adjust. You just simply focus on writing. That is the beauty of LaTeX. Okay, there are some questions. Let me take a few questions. Then we'll proceed. Amit, at what time we are going to end it?
Sir, 4:30. I think.
4:30. Will take time.
On the
So
1 hour session.
I will take one half an hour or 1 hour. No problem with that. I can take till 5.
Okay.
So the file format, someone has asked what is the file format. The file format is text, and it is opened by LaTeX editors only, right? Microsoft Word cannot open this file, but Microsoft Word also provide some facility of writing LaTeX equations, right? So as you write from that equation editor, similarly, you can write math equations using the LaTeX in Microsoft Word as well. LaTeX with template. We'll take this template. Okay. Right. So this is how you can manage the matrices. All right. Let me quickly finish it. Alignment of equations. Right. So in addition to that double dollar sign for display mode equations, you have an environment known as begin equation environment, right? Begin equation environment, but this begin equation environment also number the equation, right? Begin equation environment, number your equation. All right. So let's see how it works. This is the begin equation. This is a thing that is very useful. It is a level. Level is that it is equation number 1, right? This is very helpful. You can later on in your text refer to this equation by citing this key equation 1. We'll see how it will be done, right? And then for a moment, I'm just deleting this and this part to show you how the equation works. Right? So this is your equation. Right? This is our equation command or equation environment, which will produce a centered equation, right? So A equals to pi r square by 2, and the equation number is 1, right? Equation number is 1. You need not to write anything, equation number 1, 2, or keep track of the numbering, right? The LaTeX will do that, right? But if you don't want the number for this particular equation, so simply put a star here as well as here, right? The equation number will disappear. Equation number will disappear, right? So you can use double dollar signs or a begin the equation environment with a star on the equation for unnumbered equations. Now suppose I want to refer this equation in the text. I want to refer to equation, right? refer, right? And I have to write the EQ1. That's it. I want to refer equation. It will put the equation number, but after recompiling, I think again there is a package issue. Oh, we have not put the number actually. It works, the level works, or this works only for the numbered equations. Equation 1, or if you want to keep it inside the bracket, just put this in the brackets. It's like that. So the same number, even when your number equation number is changed because you have reshuffled the document, this reference will not be disturbed, right? It will automatically place the right reference number whenever you put it. All right. So this is the simple equation. Suppose you want a equation where the equation has two lines, and you want to align the left hand side and right hand side with equation sign, right? So for that, you use this inside the equation environment. Inside the equation environment, you use the split environment, right? Begin split and split, begin split and split, and you use a AND operator in both the lines where you want to align your equations, align the two lines or two equations. Let's see how it will appear in the final document, right? It's like that, right? So you have just one equation, a equals to pi r square equals to half pi r square, right? So this is aligned on the equal to sign, right? And for both these lines, equation number 2 is given. Here again, I have assigned a level 2. So whenever I refer equation 2, equation number 2 will be put it over there. All right. So for alignment, you can use this split environment, right? You can use the split environment. All right. So there's a single equation. Suppose you want to write a multi-line equation, right? Multi-line equation. So for that, you simply use a begin multi-line, right? Begin multi-line. So this star will not print the number of the equation. If you remove this star, the equation number will be printed in the document, right? And to break this equation, you simply use the line break, right? Double backslash, and you continue writing your equation. All right. So now you want to align these several, you have, suppose you want to write the 5 equations, right? You want to write the 5 equations and you want to align them at a particular point. So here there is another environment known as the align environment, ALIGN, ALIGN, right? They work independently, right? These align works independently. So here 2x minus 5 by equals to 8. So right, you have to use this AND sign to align. You have to use this AND sign to align, right? So these two equations will be aligned on this left hand side, aligned on this equal to sign. All right. And there are lots of other environments as well, right? It's like gather and so on. The list is endless. Let me quickly take one or for spacing in math mode, you cannot write text in the math mode. Whenever you write text in the math mode, its appearance is different, right? Its appearance will be different. For example, this is suppose you want to write something in the math mode, say between the dollar signs, say I am happy, right? Its appearance will be italic, right? I am happy, there is no space as well, right? There is no space as well. So for spacing, you can use this tilde, right? One thing, you can use this tilde. So spacing will be there. After each word, you use this 1 point scaling will be provided. But again, this is curly by default. So if you want to write some math inside the math mode, what you can use is a command called mbox, right? Called mbox, and whatever you want, you write inside the curly brackets, just like normal text. Right? So it will appear as text, right? And at the same time, you can also write the math outside this mbox, say alpha plus, say beta, comma this, right? So for that, again, you have to put a space, right? Alpha plus beta, comma m space. Suppose you want more space, which is not sufficient. So either you can use multiple tilde, or there is a command called backslash quad, right? So it will give you around 4 point space, right? Equivalent to 4 point space, a little higher space, right? You see now the difference, the space between alpha plus beta is more, right? So you can use quad multiple times to generate more space. All right. Okay, so this is the basics about the mathematics, right? How to use math in LaTeX, right? Next is the next important part is the figures and tables. Figures and tables. Okay. So this is the command, include graphics, and inside the curly brackets, it is the name of the image, universe dot, it may be PDF, it may be JPG, or any other supporting file format, right? So include graphics universe. So this will be the picture without any caption or anything else, right? So this is the simple. Here you also see this graphical path, right? Graphics path, you have to put it inside the preamble, right? If your image is not in the same folder where your LaTeX text file is stored, right? If your LaTeX text file is stored in the same folder where the image is, there is no need to include the path. Otherwise, you have to define the path where to fetch the image, right? So this is the path. Now how to change the size of the image? For that, inside after this include graphics and before the name of the picture, there is a command scale equals to 1.5, right? So here the figure is scaled of 1.5 times your original image, 1.5 times your original image, right? If you don't want to scale it like that way, you have another command, include graphics. Inside the square bracket, you can specify the width as well as the height of the image. So width is 3 centimeter, height is 4 centimeter. You can also specify in terms of inches, right? So for this inch, it is IN. The command is IN, right? Or there is another way of resizing the image. You can use width equals to text width, right? Text means overall text width from end to end. So the width will be equal to the text width. So it will occupy all the text width, right? It heights will be adjusted to keep the aspect ratio. Right? You can also tilt your image, right? So for that, you have to add one more parameter. One is the scaling, the other one is angle. So angle is 45 degree, right? So angle is 45 degree. It will be rotated to 45 degree in anti-clockwise direction, right? 45 degree in anti-clockwise direction. Positioning, where you want to position your image, right? Actually, the if you don't put anything, especially, so your image will be put at best location, right? Either at the top or specified by the template. But if you want, say, my image should appear here only, right? So for that, first of all, you have to use this environment, which is begin figure and figure environment, right? And you have to specify a parameter h, means here, right? So immediately after the text, the image will be put there only, right? It is forced actually, almost there. All right. So this figure environment is always used, right? So inside the figure environment, you use this include graphics, right? So these are the different positions. If you put H over here, so it is placed here only. If you put T, it will be at top. If you this parameter is B, it will be at the bottom. If you put P on a special page, right? If it is this symbol, it override the internal parameter. It is not generally used, right? These H, sometimes we need H. Otherwise, the template has its all specifications, so there is no need to worry about it, right? If you want the image to be in center, so you can use this command centering, right? You can use the command centering to center your image, or you can have right or left as well. All right. By default, the alignment is left. Right. Text wrapping भी होता है, but I'm just as I'm discussing the basics, I'm not discussing this command as the time is limited actually. Now come to that is very important: captioning, labeling, and referencing. Right. So this is the complete command actually, which is we use in your scientific documents, right? So what the elements are? The first is the figure, right? Begin figure, end figure. H is not mandatory, right? You just avoid this H actually, right? Then you have a caption. What caption you want to give to your figure? Here the caption is example of a plot, sin x, cos x, and so on. So this, whenever you put this caption before the include graphics command, your caption will appear above the figure. Or if you specify the caption after the include graphics command, your caption will appear below the image. Sorry. All right. The centering command is for to place the figure in the center of the text, right? Then you have one more thing we need. One more thing is needed. This caption can be put at the bottom or at the top. It's not the only the option. You can have the caption on the right as well as caption on the left. But for that, there is a different command, right? For that, there is a different command. For this, the command is sc figure, and this additional parameter 0.5, right? So ये आपने यहाँ पर जैसे include ग्राफ में 0.6 टैक्स बिट है, उसका 50% 0.5 टाइम्स आपका टैक्स बिट के लिए रहेगा, right? So here the caption is on the right. Similarly, you can have caption on the left as well. But for this, you need a side package, side cap package. Generally, this is not used because most of the journal papers or conference papers prefer the bottom captioning. All right. So this is about captioning, and then about referencing. So we always put, just like we have the level in an equation, we have a level in equation, we put a level in each figure, right? We put a level in each figure. So it is a level figure mass 1, right? Always use this type of nomenclature. Though it is, you can use anything to level a figure, but this is that it is a figure. What is it? Is a figure of mass, right? Whatever you like, but always use level, right? Now you can use that same reference command to refer that particular figure, right? That we have used in equation. The same command can be used to refer the equations and figures as well, as it is done over here. As you see the figure, so this will refer to this figure only, right? And it will this number of the figure will appear automatically here. All right. So this is for reference, and this is page refer. Page refer. This is special command. It will refer to the page number where your figure will appear in the document, right? Say, suppose you want to say that the figure 1 in page 7. So use this page refer. Figure used in page 7, whatever it is, right? So that page number will be placed over here. And this leveling, right? This level also help you identify, generate the list of figures. Suppose you are writing your thesis, right? So just one command will generate a list of figures, right? Will generate a list of figures, and the same thing happens with the list of tables as well, list of symbols as well, and so on, list of equations as well. Right? Actually, I'm running sort of time. So I'm just quickly want to cover one more thing, which is cross-referencing or your bibliography management. That is very useful. Bibliography management. Right? In bibliography management, actually, this references will be managed by this bibliography management software, right? And you need not to write references every time you are preparing a paper, right? You always keep a master copy of your references, and based on the formatting style of the journal for referencing, they will be generated automatically, right? But this requires a third-party software for generating a bibliography file, right? So one such software is JAVREF, which is from Mendeley, right? I think it is from Mendeley. One such software is JAVREF. What happened? Okay, this is the JAVREF. Can you see this, Amit?
No, sir. The screen is not shared, I think.
Okay. So this is the JAVREF. Now, are you able to see this?
Yes, sir.
JAVREF, right? Its look will be a little different in the Word. It is for the Mac actually. It will be different. Look will be different. What you have to do? You have to create a library. You have to create a library. That means you will create a file actually, right? You will create a file, and in that file you will see you add the entries, right? With this plus sign, or in Word there will be a different window. You add this plus sign and you will appear a field like this: research field, author, optional. But you do not to bother about this. You just click this bibtex source, right? Then you see this type of article. You remove this, right? And go to the paper which you want to say generate a bibtex, right? For example, okay, actually this will not open. I just open one file from my just a minute, give me just a minute. At this time it is hard to find. Okay, just where I can get that file. Okay, actually system में है ही नहीं वो. So point is, you just go to the, say, suppose you want to cite a IEEE paper. So just search for that paper in IEEE Explore, right? Click that paper, and then you get a tab which says cite this paper. Right? Click on that, then it will show you the sources. So go for the bibtex source, and then copy all that information which is will be in the text format. Copy that and you paste it over here and save it, right? And save it. Then save that file. Whenever you open that file, there will be a field known as bibtex key, right? Bibtex key. Actually,
Sir, your voice is not audible. Maybe you have muted the audio.
okay. Now is it fine?
Yes, sir.
Just a minute. Actually मेरे सिस्टम में फाइल नहीं है वो, but I'm just give you the process how to do that. First of all, to use this bibliography, first of all you have to add these two commands. This is the style. For any journal, this style file is given, right? So you have to use this command, and this command will already be there in the template, right? Then you have to use this bibliography sample. Actually, this is the file, this sample is the file, bibtex file, which contains all the information about your references. Each reference has a key, right? Each reference has a key which is generated automatically, right? Each reference has a key. So open that file in JabRef and copy that key. For example, here in this statement, you see there are 3 items, all are cited. So they cite. So this is the key actually, cite companion. The only thing that you have to, in that case, you have to do to cite a reference is you have to write this command \cite, and inside the curly brackets, you have to give that key. In fact, you just copy all the complete statement \cite and the key from that file and just paste it here, right? Similarly, this is done for the second reference and so on. You need not to bother about the reference, the authors, the formatting, nothing. When you run this, automatically the appropriate references number will be given in the text, and at the end of your document, a reference list will be generated automatically, right? Reference list will be generated automatically. So this is a very useful feature of this bibliography management and LaTeX, right? So this is just an introduction of LaTeX, right? You just start using it if you like it, right? And whenever you face difficulty, you just search for that, whatever you want to do. You definitely find a quick reply or quick reply from Google that you can use those sentences, right? Because for different fields there is a package and there's lots of things in that, but need not to read all the things or learn all the things. You just start using this LaTeX with this minimum information, you will love it. Okay, that's all from my side. Thank you. If you have any query, please ask.
If participants have any query, they can write on the chat box. Okay, I think there is no query anymore. So now we came to the end of this session, and it gave me immense pleasure to thank Bansal sir for accepting the student invitation for delivering this talk and enlighten us about the importance of a good technical writing and guide us how to start with the LaTeX software. I'm sure that students who are the new to that software, this will be a good kickstart for them. And now I like to thank other faculty members for spending their time and giving valuable feedback to the IEEE team. And at this point, I also like to introduce the team behind to plan and execute this event. Mr. Abhishek Sharma, who is the chairperson of the student branch of campus, Mr. Vipul Dikshit, who is holding the position of the vice chairperson, myself, Ankit Dikshit, secretary, and Mr. Manish Singh, treasurer, and Mr. Amit Sharma, who is act as a webmaster for all these activities. This event could not be possible without the support of Dr. S.K. Jain sir and Dr. Mataji Mansal sir, who is also act as a branch counselor and faculty advisor for the IEEE student branch. At the end, I would like to thank all the students for attending and making this session more vibrant and informative. In the chat box, we have shared the link of the feedback for this event. Please spare your 2 minutes to give this feedback. Now, here with the permission of all the respected faculties, and I'm ending this session. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you all for patience hearing and giving me this opportunity. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you, sir.